Okay, before I get into the video, I would like to say thank you for 900 subscribers and looking at my videos, even though they might be dumb and silly. If you can, subscribe. I would appreciate it. And also, join my Discord. My Discord is a little bit dry right now, so it already has people inside of it, but I'm trying to make it better. Link will be in the description. If you don't know how to get to the description, I'll tell you right now. First off, you go to a YouTube video for phone and you click on title. Now it lights up gray, but when you click on it and let go, you then see the description, how many likes, views, and when the video was released. You also see the title, and if it does have an intro or outro, you see this. Now, if you would have scrolled down, you would have saw my Discord. If you do join my Discord, you will be able to talk to me. You will be able to, give me what if ideas. You would just be able to chill there. I'm going to start to get on my Discord more and call. Also, you don't have to be afraid to join the call. I won't roast you or anything like that unless you're just being straight up weird. And with that said, let's get straight into the video. Hit that intro.
Wanna ask his bitch ass that, but that nigga dead for real. Been a nigga block the windows down, but I like jumping out. You clap first, I'm still coming, bitch, we just gon' spark it out. Run the opposition down and knock his fucking tonsils out. Lil' bro smooth his ass, that nigga dead, that's what that chopper about. We ain't ducking shit, bitch, what it is, let's bring them choppers out. Pull up to his crib, that's where he live, oh yeah, we popping out. Ain't no questions asked, bitch, I'm a blast, they know I'm rocking out. When this chopper flash, boy, that's your ass, ain't shit to talk about.
Now, Izuku would be blessed by a god when he was born, and he would grow up to, be extremely strong, stronger than normal people. Now, people suspected that it was his quirk, which was weird because Izuku was always strong, even before the age of 7. So when he got checked out for a quirk, they were surprised to see that he didn't have a quirk. But the doctors did see that his body wasn't normal. Everything about his body looked like it was built to come apart instantly without causing any damage. It still looked like a normal human body. He had all normal human features outside. But when they looked deeper, they just noticed that it looks like his body basically looks like it's prepared to disperse and accumulate itself. Basically like smoke does, or rain, or Sub-Zero, or even Scorpion. Well, not Scorpion, but yeah, all the rest of them. So they basically test Izuku, and they see that he's able to turn his body into smoke and also control the smoke from his body. The thing is, when it does use the powers, it's not like it takes pieces away from his body or his internal organs or skin or flesh. It's like it creates smoke automatically, but his body also is smoke. So it kind of confuses the doctor because it makes no sense how his quirk works. But eventually, they deem him quirkless with a question mark. Literally inside the files. Quirkless. It literally says quirkless question mark. So every single school that he went to, they would be like, quirkless question mark? What does that mean? Which basically just means that, he has something like a quirk, but it isn't a quirk. Now, eventually he would go to a different school for middle school, and he would go to the same school as Bakugo again, because they lived inside the same neighborhood. They went to the same elementary, but Bakugo was always a bully. The thing is, he would never be able to bully Izuku. Because even though Izuku might have not been the strongest in the room, he was extremely smart. So whenever Bakugo tried to hit Izuku or something, Izuku would just turn his body into smoke. Now, eventually Bakugo would just straight up stop messing with Izuku physically, but he would try to bully him mentally. Which, since he's him, he just doesn't really care. Until everybody else starts laughing. Then that makes him care. Alright, so time skip. Now, this is the end of middle school, and basically, the teacher says, okay, class, today we'll be seeing which one of you wants to become a hero or go to UA to try and become a hero. Now, so then no one has to be, embarrassed by your quirk or how strong or weak it is. We'll be passing in papers. Now, just check on the no or yes and put your name on the paper. Now, basically, Izuku and everybody else in the class does this. And basically, Bakugo, after everybody puts their stuff in, Bakugo's just talking like he's better than everyone. Even though everyone just knows he's a bully. And he's probably self-conscious. Like, really self-conscious. He basically calls them weaklings and losers and basically says he'll become the #1 hero in the future. Now, the teacher says, okay, the people that want to become heroes are Izuku, Bakugo, and side character. Now, when the teacher says this, everyone bursts out into laughter. Basically completely like shocked that Izuku would even try to become a hero, even though he's quirkless. The thing that the people inside of this world don't get is if it doesn't say you have a quirk and you have something different, they consider you still weak. Because what is he going to do with the power to turn his body into smoke? For real, like, people were just wondering, like, what do you do? What can you do that is useful? Except protect yourself while turning your body into smoke. And a lot of villains have body enhancement quirks. So fighting them hand to hand probably wouldn't work. So basically, after everybody's done, the teacher dismisses the class, and Izuku at this point is going into his notebook and basically writing down all of the heroes he saw that day. I skipped that part because I didn't see that as relevant. Now, as he closes the book, Bakugo slams his hand down and explodes Izuku's book. And Bakugo basically says, you think some quirkless loser like you could become a hero? Your only power is to turn your body into smoke. When is that ever going to become useful? Now, as he says this, Izuku gets up out of his chair. And Bakugo basically says, what, do you want to fight? And not thinking that Izuku would actually want to fight, Bakugo was shocked when he gets punched in the face. And basically, his goons are inside of shock for a few seconds. But then they get on Izuku and they start to try and beat him up. At this point, Izuku is shaking everybody off of him. Including the powers that he got from smoke. He also got, the loads of training that Smoke had went through. So basically, he's beating the crap out of Bakugo and his goons. And after Bakugo and his goons are either bloodied or just knocked out, he leaves the room and starts to walk. Now, as he does this, he then senses something inside of his proximity. And he kind of looks up at the bridge and sees someone's kind of lurking there. But since his power is to literally turn into something that is not exactly touchable, he's not really worried. So when the sludge villain pounces onto him and tries to suffocate him, he just turns his body into smoke, which completely confuses the sludge villain since now Izuku's on the other side of him. He doesn't get it. The kid was literally just he was literally just over the kid, getting ready to suffocate him to death. Now, the sludge villain then tries to pounce for Izuku again, but this time Izuku's kind of annoyed. So he grabs the sludge villain and he starts to fill the sludge villain's body with smoke, which, since he's still human, he still has to breathe air. So the sludge villain then starts to choke. And, our lungs aren't really built for smoke. Actually, we regularly die from it. So he then starts to suffocate. Now, he's completely confused. He didn't think that someone like this would be the one to take him down. He thought at least a pro hero would take him down, like All Might or Eraserhead. Even the what is that wood nigga's name? The new hero. But excuse me. But instead, he's being taken out by a middle schooler. Now, he then loses consciousness, and I'm gonna say his body goes from sludge to back to normal. So his body turns to normal, and All Might basically lands and sees the guy on the ground with Izuku over him, and basically Izuku's eyes were all smoky. Like, from the cracks of his eyes, like you could see in the picture, smoke was coming out of them. No pun intended. So All Might basically goes up to the kid and he asks him, what did he do to the sludge villain? Did he knock him out? Did he kill him? But then Izuku just says, oh, whoa, nah. You got too much dip on your chip. You need to chill out. I didn't kill him, I just knocked him out. Now, as he says that, All Might then kinda sighs inside of relief as he says, okay, good job. And he kinda takes the sludge villain and just jumps off. Now, for plot reasons, Izuku goes back to his house and he sees on the news something's happening at the bridge, but he's not really worried about it. So he just goes out since his mom asks him to get groceries, as I do inside of a lot of my what ifs. Now, as he's going to the grocery store, he sees the sludge villain overtop someone and a bunch of pro heroes trying to hold back a crowd of people. Well, they're pro heroes. So, as they're being held back, basically Izuku starts walking, and the strong guy tries to stop him. He says, whoa. Do you not see the villain attack happening right behind me? Are you blind? Now, he says this because Izuku's eyes does not look regular. They look kind of foggy inside of a certain sort of way, I guess you could say. Now, as he says this, Izuku just looks up at him inside of confusion, and he turns his body into smoke and then goes around him. Now, he then thinks to himself, I thought I just took care of him. All Might must have dropped him out of that bottle that he had. So, basically, the sludge villain is trying to, suffocate Bakugo as it sees the kid, and it's just immediately stresses up. One, from having PTSD of, being choked to death, or trauma, I guess you could say, of being choked to unconsciousness, not death, unconsciousness. And he kind of stops in place, like he can't believe he just ran into the same kid twice in one day. Now, Bakugo then notices who's there and he sees Bakugo. And he says, "You idiot, how are you going to bully people and can't even take care of yourself?" As he kind of rubs the back of his head instead of annoyance. Now, the sludge villain is trying to, well, as I said, suffocate him. But all of a sudden, the sludge villain sees that something's missing. As he didn't notice, Izuku had turned his body into smoke and then grabbed Bakugo, kind of grabbed him, I guess you could say, and kind of like used enough force with his smoke to push him out of the sludge villain's body. The reason the sludge villain didn't see him turn into smoke is because he's having flashbacks of, well, being suffocated. Now, as you know, as this happens, Bakugo then starts to cough and basically gasp for air as in between gasps. Dang it, I can't talk. In between gasps. Dang it, I can't say gasp for some reason. Gasps. He basically says, "I didn't need your help, you know." As he says that, Izuku says, "Oh, I can take you back. As a matter of fact, you know, I don't really mind it." So, as he says that, Bakugo kind of looks up at him in fear and he says, chill out, I was just joking." As he then walks back to the sludge villain and again suffocates him until he passes out, which everybody's watching this scene is at a shock. As Izuku kind of walks off and everybody's just shocked until inside the back of the crowd, someone starts to slowly grow and jumps down. Now, of course, this is All Might. And he basically whispers something to the kid and jumps off. And everybody's like, "Negro, where were you when this was happening?" So, they kind of just go back to their normal day since nothing's happening anymore. And a few days later, Izuku goes to this restaurant. Now he sees this skinny man inside of a booth, and he kind of walks past him, and the man says, "Hey kid, it's me." As Izuku looks confused and looks around like, who is he talking to? As he keeps on walking, and he says, "Izuku Midoriya, it is me." And as he hears that, he then looks back to see this skinny man that looks like he has some type of disease, some type of eating disorder, as a matter of fact. As he says, "Are you talking to me? I actually have someone to meet here." As All Might then says, "That's me." And he sits down and he's like, "So wait, you're All Might?" And as he says this, well, asks this question, All Might then explains what happened to him and basically why he's in the predicament he's in. And basically, Izuku looks shocked. As All Might says, "You showed a lot of bravery back there." "Yes, I am doing this." Now, as he says, "What do you mean?" All Might says, "You protected that kid and you didn't even know him." And Izuku says, "What do you mean I didn't even know him? He goes to my middle school. He's just a bully. I was kind of feeling a little bit generous today, so I didn't let him die." And All Might kind of, has a weak smile at this, and he says, anyways, that amount of braveness that you showed really impressed me, and I would like to give you my quirk." Now, as he says this, Izuku looks confused and he says, are you crazy? You can't give people quirks. Now, he then explains again that he can just do that as, the first user of One for All could kind of do that. And it kind of passed on somehow. So, Izuku's like, okay, what do I need to do? And he says, well, first off, right now, your body's not exactly weak, but you need to start working out. Because if you use this power, you'll break every single bone in your body. And Izuku then says, you realize my power is smoke. And he also says, you realize you can't punch while inside a smoke form. And Izuku is kind of like beaten. Like, he can't say anything about that. So, 10 months later, after the whole training thing, he gets One for All. And basically, he's like, so, how does this work? Like, do I need a blood transfusion? Or, like, do you just give me the power? He then takes out a piece of his hair and he says, eat this, young Midoriya. And Izuku looks at him like he's crazy and he says, you want me to eat that? As All Might just nods his head. Dang it, head. No pun intended. As he says, so I'm just supposed to ignore, first off, dandruff, all that oil in your hair. Like, this is not going down easy, bro. How do you have one strand of hair this thick, bro? This isn't multiple. This is one strand of hair. What do you mean? So basically, All Might just says, just eat the hair. As Izuku then just throws the hair in his mouth and eats it. Now, All Might tells him it might take a few days to kick in. And to also keep on training so then he can, keep using his power and get, like, stronger. And not have to break every bone in his body. Now, I'm going to give it about another week or two. I'm going to give it 2 more weeks. And now it's time for the, entrance exam. Now, Izuku at this point has found a way to cheat his power because he had to test it out just to know what exactly it does. And I'm going to leave that for the future. Walked into my room again, as I was saying. Basically, yeah, his mom says good luck and he walks out of the house. Now, he then goes to the UA entrance place and he signs up. Or, yeah, he signs up. And basically, he put all of his stuff inside of there, like his height, his weight, with his, what is, he put what the doctors put quirkless ? Which confused the people. And he said, well, technically the doctors said that I don't have a quirk, but I have something like it. So that's why I put that there. So basically they nod to him and they're like, okay, I can get that. And yeah, that's basically about it. Now, as he walks in, he's then confronted by a girl. And she basically says, oh, hi, my name is Ochako Uoraka. And she introduces herself to him. Now, as she does that, they then have a conversation. And basically, the nigga with the headphones on his face or his neck, basically with his quirk said, okay, first we're gonna be doing a written test, and then we're gonna be doing a physical test. We'll do the writing test first, and then I'll tell you after the test, after everyone's finished, what the physical test is. Now, Izuku passes with flying colors since he's, well, big brain. And basically, he goes to talk to Uraraka as Ida, being Ida, gets in front of him and he says, "Stop right there. If you go and talk to her, you'll distract her from her test." Now, as Ida says that, Izuku looks at Ida and then he just tries to continue walking. Now, as Ida grabs Izuku's shoulder, Izuku looks back at him, and his eyes are full of smoke. And this, for some reason, scares Ida, but he doesn't know why. He doesn't know why he's scared of Izuku. Basically, the only thing that he could come up with is he has his. As I was saying before, my friend called me. He just comes to the conclusion that Izuku has a villain type quirk. So he kind of leaves Izuku alone. And he goes on with whatever he's doing, I guess. Now, Izuku then talks to Uraraka and basically, asks her a few things. And basically, she just said she's on the last question, so she kind of checks off the last question and hands in her paper. Now, they have a conversation for a few more minutes until the guy with the headphones on his ears or whatever then begins to tell everyone, since everybody's test is, well, put in, now it's time for the physical test. Now, he then explains about the 0-pointer, the 2-pointers, the 1-pointers. Pretty sure there was 3-pointers. Yeah. And basically, he just explains all of that. Now, while he's doing that, Izuku's talking to Uraraka. Ida's looking at Izuku inside of anger because he, when something scares people, they get angry for some reason. When people are scared, they get angry. And I've never gotten it, but I guess it's something about not liking to be scared. So, basically, Ida's staring daggers into him. Bakugo is basically looking at Izuku, and he just scoffs at him. Now, as the practor gets done explaining everything, he basically tells everybody to line up. Now, as they're inside of a vertical line, basically, dang it, I can't think. Yeah, basically, the guy says, "Okay, now 3, 2, I don't know why you're waiting for me. The villains won't tell you when to go. Go!" And as he says that, everybody then begins to run off, except for Izuku. Now, everybody's confused by this, but they don't really care, since, they're just all trying to get their test done. Now, the reason why Izuku hasn't moved from the spot he's in is, well, first off, because he can just fly while using smoke. So he lets everybody think that they're gonna be in front, and then he uses his powers and instantly gets in front of everybody, even Ida and other people with speed-based quirks. Now, as he does this, he then takes out a bunch of 2-pointers, 3-pointers. He's only going for 2-pointers and 3-pointers. He's killed a few 1-pointers because, well, they were in the way. He hasn't really destroyed any buildings. Not a possible way unless he uses his physical strength. Anyway, basically, Izuku then takes out a bunch of other robots, and this goes on for about, I'd say, 20 minutes until he sees people running, and this confuses him until he starts to feel the ground shake, and then he kind of looks up and he says, 0 pointer, inside of a kind of dark tone. As he says that, he then looks up and sees a giant robot inside the sky. Now, he's getting ready to ignore it until he hears the girl that he was talking to, aka Uraraka, scream. Now, when he sees the girl, he sees that she's trapped under a piece of rubble. Now, he's just thinking, why isn't she using her quirk to move it? Until he just kind of puts it off as nothing, and then he kind of runs over to her. Now, as he does, he then and at this point he can't run away. And he knows he'll survive it, but Uraraka's still not far enough to not be stepped on. So he just says, whatever. And he basically starts to fly as high as he can. Now, as he does this, he then turns his body back physical, and he looks at the 0 pointer right in his eyes. As he then lifts his hand, and dang it, I can't think of a good name to use for this. He then lifts his hand, and he says, well, I guess this is the end for you. And as he says that, he throws a giant punch, completely destroying the robot. More than the original Izuku did, since he has a strength-based ability. Well, it increases his strength. It's not strength-based, but it increases his strength. So it adds on to that. And he just completely destroys the 0 pointer. Not a big dent. Like, you can see the other part of the 0 pointer just poking out of itself. Now, as he does this, his arm then breaks as he screams inside of... It was more of a blood-curdling scream. Like, it wasn't a normal one. It was just blood-curdling. Now, of course, he goes back to being calm the next few seconds because this isn't the first time he's broken his arm. And as I said, he found a way to cheat his power. Basically, the way that he does that is he turns his arm into smoke and basically reforms it back to its original place, basically unbreaking and repairing the damaged tissue that was there before. Now, as he does this wastes a lot of energy, as he then goes tumbling back down to the ground. Now, as he does, he then opens his eyes, and he then focuses all of his powers onto his body as he hits the ground and bursts into smoke. And the smoke basically comes back up off of the ground and shoots back inside of the place that his body landed and turns himself back into his original state. Now, everybody goes to check on him, and they see that, well, he has injuries, but not very big ones. And also, they thought they heard bones cracking when he punched the robot. But apparently, it was just their imaginations, quotation marks. This is where I'm going to leave it off. If you guys enjoyed, please subscribe or hit the like button. I really don't care. If you don't want to, that's also okay. But, you know, as I said again, join the Discord. If you want to, you can subscribe. It's free. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Power I seek, and if it ain't about the money, then my nigga don't speak. I be in the lab getting immersed in these verses. I'm writing the light brighter than the white in the mom. And I'm working hard like I need an A on assignment. They copy tape like I'm Simon. No walkie-talkie, I'm stat. Hitting it from the back. Walk around with the strap. Concealed cause I can, it's a city law. Hold up, bitch, you can't, man, I pity y'all. How y'all on the streets where these niggas gonna really rob? I up the heat, aim at his meat, chili dog.